Hello, I'm Izzy Nalley, the co-founder of the WOW Network. We are the fastest growing women's networking group in Louisville, Kentucky, which is just amazing. And we're really here to make an impact. So many of our women in the group, including our founding members, are really trying to make a difference in this world and not just trying, but they really are. And it's so amazing. Today with me, I have one of our founding members, Lynn, who is going to tell us about the amazing work that she does and how she's making an impact not just in Louisville, but also all around the world. All right, Lynn, tell us what you got going on.
Hey, Izzy, I'm so glad to be here. And can I just say how much I love the WOW Network and how I meet the most amazing women through this organization and this wonderful network of amazing leaders and women. It's just such a wonderful thing. To tell you a little bit about me, I'm a speaker and author, and my main business is I'm a Reset It specialist. I teach my clients in 2 sessions a process that's based on neuroscience and quantum physics so that they can reset the things that don't belong to them and get rid of the things that get in their way. So that's the main gig in my world. And then I have a bunch of other little things I do because I want to be in them, frankly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm the founder of a community of women, a free community of women called Uprising Unstoppable Powerful Women. It started local to Louisville and is now global. And it is a wonderful space to meet other great women. From that was born the Be More Conference for Women, which is a virtual conference. It's online. It's twice a year, spring and fall. We think of it as the connection conference because unlike most virtual conferences where you kind of go and you might as well be watching a YouTube video, you're sitting in a room by yourself taking notes and, you never meet anybody. We've probably all been to those. At the Be More conference, you not only get to meet the speakers, but you get to meet the other people who are in attendance. And so it's really, really fun. And it's also designed to be a platform for women speakers who have a great message to take to the world, but they aren't on Oprah yet, right? So that's who we want as speakers. And I should say, because we're recording this in May of 2024, that the speaker applications open June 1st through June 30th. So speaker applications are about to open for the Be More conference. And then I run 2 little mastermind groups. One of them is a holdover from my days as a sales coach. It's called the DIY Sales and Marketing Mastermind. And these are things I created because I wanted to be in them. I wanted a mastermind group of people who were trying to do their own sales and marketing to get better at that with. And that's what that is. And then Brooke Haynes and I partner together we have 2 things. The mastermind group we have it's a transformational group for women called Unleash Your Unstoppable. And so that's a lot of fun and fabulous. It's a weekly group of women. And we also have a podcast called Frequency 500, where we are on a mission to spread the word that we can all live from a frequency of love or above. So that's what that's about.
That's so amazing. And I will say I have been to your celebration Fridays.
Yeah.
Are so amazing. And then you do the Wednesday once a month as well.
Yep. Wise Women Wednesday. Those are both part of Uprising Unstoppable Powerful Women. Yeah.
And they are so amazing. Like, I know I find myself where it's so easy to get into that negative thinking patterns and to just put yourself into a positive atmosphere where you are strongly encouraged to switch that mindset into the positive is so amazing. I highly recommend everyone to tune into that one to join. But you mentioned your Reset It, and I really want to come back to that because I myself am all about these resetting abilities, but yours is really unique. It's not some one of these where you need a ton of sessions, right? It's what is it, two
No,
sessions?
2 sessions, and it's not coaching. So, in the traditional sense of coaching at all, um, it is 2 90-minute sessions, and I teach my clients this process. And so I'm not doing anything to the client, right? I'm not a practitioner of this, and I'm doing something to you. I'm teaching you something all of us can do. It's just nobody's taught us how to do it, right? It is a part of our faculty as fully operating human beings. Some of us might think, oh my God, I'm not fully operating. Well, this will get you there, right? So it's 2 90-minute sessions. And then it's a process you have that you can utilize for the rest of your life. And yeah, yeah.
Perfect. So give us an example. Maybe I know sometimes as practitioners we have like clusters of people that come in for the same thing. You might have some of those, or is it like what's a really good case scenario that you can share with the women in the group?
Well, I will say this. There are lots of, you can't get to adulthood as an adult human being without having been programmed to think about yourself and the world, either by people or by society, right? Social programming. What does it mean to be a woman? What does it mean to be smart? What does it mean to be skinny or fat or whatever it is, right? Social programming, but also parents, teachers, siblings, spouses, bosses, like all those people tell us things that stick, right? So there's a huge variety. And I'll tell you my story because I feel like it's safest to share my story. I had, I have, I know I don't look it, but I'm 63 years old, and I've been at this personal and spiritual development journey for over 40 years. Like I started college at 17. I was a religion major. I've been on this spiritual journey for a long time, right? And I was dedicated to getting out of my own way. Like that, my book title, the subtitle is Releasing Old Patterns and Moving Forward with 3 short, like this is my thing. Like I was so like, I got to do it. And I had worked at it and worked at it. And I had all these certifications, all these different processes. But when I was a child, my father owned a trucking company. And it was back in the day when Jimmy Hoffa was in charge of the Teamsters Union, which was the union for the trucking companies. And my dad had signed the National Teamsters Agreement, but they were pressuring him for more concessions. And he was saying no. And one day he got a call and they said, are you ready to sign that contract? And he told them to go to hell. And they said, literally, they said, well, we saw your daughter walking to school today. She had on a red sweater and a blue skirt. And it'd be a shame if something happened to her on the way home from school. And that little girl was me. And things like that went on for about 4 years, from the time I was 8 to the time I was 12. And you can track this idea through my life. Like I came away from that experience with this programmed belief that it isn't safe to be too successful, right? When you're too successful, it's better to fly under the radar, because if you're too successful, somebody's going to threaten you, right? That's what my 8 to 12-year-old mind did with that experience, right?
That's logical, right?
We can all see how that would happen, right? And so, but for years, for decades, I didn't know that that's what was operating in me. I was 38 years old when my father told me the story about what had happened. And I was like, well, that explains a lot. So I got to work then trying to undo the pattern, right? But you can track this idea that it isn't safe to be too successful better. You can track it through my relationship with academia. You can track it through my relationship with men. You can track it through my relationship with food. You can track it through my relationship with my body. Like it just goes everywhere. And
Mm-hmm.
so resetting that filter through which I saw myself in the world was the most freeing thing I have ever done. Like,
I
I
can
no longer
imagine.
see the world that way.
Yeah. And so, what was some things that happened once you finally were able to reset that?
Oh my gosh. Well, my it got so much easier to be an entrepreneur. Just first of all, just like, you know, so many ways that I would have categorized things as struggles were
Mm,
just like
released.
freedom is the main word I can tell you across all those areas that I said. You could track it here, you could track it here, just freedom, right? It's literally like removing a filter. Like
I
if
love
I put a blue filter over my screen and saw you through this blue filter and you turned blue and then we removed it, it would be like, look,
what just happened. I
Izzy's
can
not
see
blue
clear.
anymore, right? The world is no longer this place where it's dangerous to be too successful. Like, what?
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's so beautiful because I feel like people they feel like something's blocking them or they know like I'm here and I want this but I just can't seem to make it happen. What is that biggest thing that you hear when people are coming to you for that?
Well, I hear a lot of people, and let me just say this, Izzy, I don't talk about the pain of my clients much because I don't want to trigger other people's stuff, right?
That's a great point. Yeah.
So, but I will say there are categories of patterns that are typical
Okay.
amongst the population of men, women, everybody, right? There are things we learn from our parents, right? We all have some of those, right? There are programs and conditions that are very common around things like food,
Mm,
or weight or things like that, right? Those are all very common, very typical.
yes.
Confidence is another one, right? People have programming around confidence, which mine might fall into that category, right?
Oh,
Um, so,
I
yeah,
might notice different things different ways.
everybody has their own journey. And that's the real thing is that reset it means what it means for your specific journey, right?
I love that. I love that. So if someone comes to you and they're like, "Hey, I got something's off. This is what I'm really wanting to create in life." Is that how you go about it?
Well, they don't even have to know what it is. Like there is no need for someone to have some idea. Like I had an idea that there was this thought about it isn't safe to be too successful. By the time I did reset, I could articulate that, but it doesn't matter whether people can even articulate what's going on with them. It's just like, would you like to reset all the stuff that doesn't belong to you? Well, there
Yeah.
you go. That's
Yes,
all
I
you got to
will.
know because our process brings it back around to what is it for you?
Perfect. Perfect.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
that's a good question.
I love that you have so much going on, and I love that you talked about hey, you had your local group, you expanded it globally. So that probably means could you do these online or do you do these in person?
The reset it.
Yes.
Yeah. Reset it is all like this on Zoom.
Perfect.
Yeah. So I work with people all around the world.
That's amazing, which makes it appropriate, right, that you went global.
Yeah.
And I know your Be More conferences, and you said how long have those been going on now?
We've had 7 Be More conferences.
Amazing.
Yeah, so the one in the fall will be number 8. Some years that when we first started, it was only once a year, and now it's twice a year. So we
Yeah.
haven't been going for 7 years, but we've had 7 conferences. Yeah.
That's so amazing. Tell us about this last one that you did and what was some of the speaker topics that were presented?
Yeah, so our we have a different theme at each Be More conference, and our theme this past spring was Beyond Boundaries. So it was
Mm,
all about ideas around how do you step beyond the normal boundaries, and then we had topics about finances. We had topics about we had kind of personal development sort of topics, like mindset topics. Just so that's usually the case. We'll have 8 to 10 to 12 speakers. I think last time we had 15. It was way too many. But we have a bunch of speakers, and they all have that theme, but then they come at it from different directions. This fall, our theme is the upcoming conference. Our theme is Prosperity Amplified.
Ooh.
And you can have prosperity not just in money. You can have prosperity in your relationships. You can have prosperity in your artistic expression, right? So prosperity amplified we'll be talking about all kinds of different areas, I'm sure, depending on what speakers bring us. Yeah.
Well, fantastic, because I know I definitely want to submit one of those speaker applications. Yeah. And that is totally my topic. My podcast is Magnified Abundance. So spot on. Oh my gosh, I love that. And I agree. I think everyone has some area that might be out of balance when it comes to prosperity, or even if you're in it, to keep maintaining it, to keep putting it front of mind. There's always that area to grow.
Yeah, I hear too, Izzy, all the time. I hear people say, I was going strong. I was on a roll. I was trucking. And then, right. And that becomes the pattern, right? Like the pattern is, and like, why, and those become great people that I'd love to talk to about Reset It, because that's often we don't know what it is, but we can see the pattern.
Oh, Lynn, you're talking me into it. I'm going to have to do it now.
Come on, baby.
Yeah. No, that's amazing. And you've written a book that is about this, and you're now also going to be training Reset It trainers or
I will someday. I'm not ready. I'm like too busy at the moment. Let me just say, but Mark Mathis, who's the man who created Reset It. I met Mark. He had been doing it by himself for 15 years. And I said to him at the end of my second session, when I had already knew I had had a big result, he said, well, you got anything else you want to reset? And I said, nope, I want you to spend the last 10 minutes telling me how you're going to teach me to teach this to other people, because everybody I know needs this. And he said, well, I've thought about teaching other people. And I said, okay, it's time for you to quit thinking and start doing. Like, here I am, let's go. And so I got to be the first certified Reset It specialist in the world. And now there are about, 13 or 14 of us. So it's really fun. So,
and you help people with their businesses too. You have some aspects along that lines as well.
Yeah. I've spent over a decade as a sales coach for coaches and consultants, and I don't really do that anymore so much. I run the one little mastermind that I run called DIY Sales and Marketing Mastermind. And so I'm a sales coach in that little mastermind, but it's really a mastermind. It's not so much just me, right, teaching. It's like a group, and we're in it together. And those are the only people that I ever even do one-on-one sales coaching with anymore. Right. Like those are the only people who can still buy that from me.
I do love that too, though, because you have such a holistic view of the mind too. So like if a business owner, entrepreneur comes to you, you're going to be able to spot some of these things even faster, which is beautiful.
And once you start spotting the programs and conditions operating that are holding you back, you just kind of can't unsee them.
Oh, I've seen the people who have had Reset It's with you, and they are just glowing afterwards. Yeah. And they really do keep saying that word, freedom, or expansion.
Yes.
All right. So as we wrap this up today, tell us how people can get in contact with you to work and get one of those Reset It's.
Yeah. So you can go to Reset, RESET-IT with Lin, Lin. So reset-it-with-lin.com. And you can see there a little bit more about it. You can book a time to talk to me about it, or you can book a time to do it.
Fantastic. So hurry up and get yours scheduled because everyone's going to be seeing this and there's going to be a plethora of appointments being scheduled. So make sure that you get yours scheduled. It's also a really great time to get that scheduled before you move fully into spring and summer. That way,
Yeah. Before you
the
do
rest of the year.
anything, right? It's like somebody asked me today. I was on a call right before this today, and she said, "Well, I'm starting this what was it? A coaching program about like doing better in my business. Should I wait till I finish to that?" I was like, "No, don't wait. Do it before, like, or simultaneously. It doesn't
Your
matter."
mind's going to
Yeah.
expand when you're creating things or
And
launching things or whatever it might be.
absolutely. And see yourself in the world and your business without the filters while you're learning to get better in your business, right? Like that's just the best thing ever. And then I really want to say, Izzy, I want to invite all the women of the WOW Network to come and check out Uprising. You can find Uprising Unstoppable Powerful Women at finduprising.com, Find uprising.com.
Okay. Perfect. Yes. And I agree. I think once you get in the room and you feel it with the celebration
Yeah,
Fridays or those Wednesdays as well, I think
it's fun.
it's a different way of seeing things. It's a different way of thinking.
Well, that's the thing that I built because I wanted to be in it. Like that is the community of women that just like, oh my gosh. And
Oh,
if anybody's just looking for a digital business card on me, you can find me at meetlinhere.com. So
perfect.
LIN, meetlinhere.com.
Perfect. Well, thank you, Lynn, so much for
Thank you,
on
Izzy.
and telling us. And thank you for
So
being a part
fun.
of our community. Like our community is amazing and it's because
Yes.
of people like you. So
Well,
we appreciate
thank you. I
it.
think I love the women in our community. I think they are awesome. And I am so fired up when I get to meet new women that are part of the WOW network because I know that means they're going to be awesome.
Yeah. That means we're gonna be
Fun.
wonderful. Whoa-tastic.
WOW-tastic.
I like it, right? All right. Well, thank you, Lynn. And
Thank
we hope to
you.
see everyone else soon. We've got lots of interviews coming up this week so that you can meet our founding members.